Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Lamb. I'm a facial plastic surgeon in Dallas, Texas. I'm here with my textbook. I wrote it 20 years ago. Actually, to be specific, it was 21 years ago. And this at the time was the only textbook on Asian cosmetic surgery. Why am I talking about this now, 21 years after I wrote this book? Because this month is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And what we want to do is celebrate Asian Americans. And part of this, I talk a lot about the history of Asian Americans. And I want to really focus on the fact that what I do for Asian Americans is I create beautiful natural results that are specific for one's ethnicity as well as their facial features. So you don't look like a white person or you don't look like a different ethnicity or race. So the key with this is to make things look natural. For example, a lot of times noses in particular are overly pointy. The bridge is way too high. And I think one of the trends, I was talking to my wife about this, especially even in Caucasians, for example, Kendall Jenner right now, is not to do things over the top. Aggressive, overdone lips, ridiculous, pointy noses, things like that just don't look right. And I always tell my patients that my standard is much higher than yours. That even if you look at someone, you think, hey, they look pretty natural, I may be, no, that doesn't look natural at all. I want to tell you some things that are probably something interesting to you from a cultural standpoint that you may not know about. So, for example, Asians do cosmetic surgery sometimes, and those are usually zero generation or first generation Asians, for luck, for fortune, believe it or not. So, for example, I do a lot of otoplasties. It may not be as common to do an otoplasty in a zero generation or first generation Asian. And the reason for that is larger ears is associated with wisdom, which is interesting. So now, if someone's been Americanized or lived here for a long time, then, if someone's got prominent ears, of course, that's fine. I don't think you're going to be less wise after making your ears smaller. But I think it's just interesting. If you think about sort of in the cultural scheme of things, the Buddha with very long ears, it's a sign of wisdom. Another thing that people don't think about is nose sizes. Even though I mentioned that I don't make noses overdone or weird, a larger nose can actually be a sign or can indicate one's good fortune of wealth. Now, I don't personally believe in these things, but I think they're interesting, especially when you're approaching an Asian that's, someone that just recently came over to America. And what's interesting is if you never want to create, a pig nose with a lot of nostril show, but that actually indicates that that the money can go out. So you want a larger nose, but not one that shows too much nostrils. So these are interesting things about Asians from a cultural standpoint. The bottom line here, celebrating this month, is that as an Asian American Pacific Islander, I am very, very focused on making things look natural for you, that are appropriate ethnically for you, and that I'm also very sensitive culturally to you in terms of what you're wanting. So hopefully this little brief, the Celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, was interesting for you.